Well, I am at Northwest Garden Nursery with Marietta and Ernie O'Byrne. And so, Ernie, I've only been here for hellebore time, and I've never been here this late in the season, and it's spectacular, I think, any time of the year.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
So, when did you move here? How did this all start?
Well, we bought the property, Marietta bought the property in 72, and we got together in 77, and I had a farm over in Notai. Great property, but not a very great house. So we decided her house was better, so I sold my property and moved in here. And the garden started from about 85 on. We had water problems before that, just low quantity. And then we drilled some wells and things improved a bit. We still have to be careful, but from that time on, about 85, and then we started a nursery. We did landscape maintenance and started a nursery to be able to help people install in areas of their garden. And then Roger Gosler said, well, why don't you just start a little nursery? And we said, well, we're doing landscape maintenance. And he said, well, just open on Saturday. So that's what we did for many years, and then we did Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then we got interested in hellebores.
Well, really, you had to have some kind of a nursery to grow plants because you have so many interesting plants that you probably couldn't find anywhere at that time.
Well, that was the challenge, is we were plant collectors, really. We grew from seeds, a lot of seed exchanges, and traveled all over the world and collected plants. And so the challenge was to put them into a pleasing arrangement in the garden, even though it was a plant selection.
Because there's so many different plants. I mean, sometimes you could see that somebody really likes this kind of plant or that kind of plant or from China or from somewhere else, but really you have so many different kinds.
Well, we really do love plants, and we see plants, and then we've never been collectors of one genre like some people do. Our tastes are pretty eclectic.
And really, there's something going on at any time. I mean, the hellebores are the star of the show in the late winter, early spring, but really now there's so much going on.
There is. That's one of the things we do strive to do, is have interest in the garden at all times of year.
And really, people can come out any time of the year, but you really need a heads up so you're home, correct?
Right. Yeah, we do need to be home. There's a closed gate, so you're welcome to drive by and take a chance. If the gate's open, you're welcome to come in, but the gate may be closed.
Exactly. And so now I want to talk to Marietta about this book. And so we are so fortunate in Oregon here that there's so many authors and authors with interesting things to say. And Marietta, the book is just lovely. And it's called A Tapestry Garden. And so how did this all come about?
Well, I'll have to tell the story of Tom Fisher. Tom Fisher is the acquisition editor at Timber Press. And he has a way of talking and leaving out some details that make writing a book sound very easy. Just write 40,000 words, a few chapters, and just like several articles, and that's it. Well, there's a lot more to it, but that's how the book happened. And once we got involved and realized there's a lot more to it, it was too late. So we had to finish
committed.
Right, we were committed.
Marietta, the book is called A Tapestry Garden, so what were you trying to accomplish in all that?
I think we wanted to share our love of plants and gardening, basically. Now, we did go through different phases according to the soils here that were already there. We knew woodland garden was the first because there were some big leaf maples here that don't exist anymore, so we started gardening under them. We had very little water, so that was a constraint. Then we got into rock garden and alpine plants, which don't take up much room and much water. So all around the house, there are alpine plants. And then Ernie said, oh, how about a conifer garden? So it got stretched out. Conifers don't need much water, but they were boring. I mean, to me, just conifers. So I started planting in between. Then we also had a vegetable garden, very useful. Well, the soil was very good there because we used a lot of amendments. Well, it got too big, so how about perennials, beautiful flowers?
And then you kind of wove that all together till today's garden.
Yeah, today's garden now, because we started with a woodland garden under trees, we started with an alpine garden in an open area. It goes from room to room, so to speak. In the vegetable garden, which also is perennial garden, the chaparral garden, which is a dryland garden, it all had its own area. So yes, it is all not really divided up, but you wander from one
Right.
garden into the next.
Right. And through this book, you can really see every one of those rooms, and you really have to come down here. So put that on your list to make an appointment to come on down here. And really, this book is something to see. It's got the lovely pictures that show it at any time of the year. So if you're interested in this book, please go to one of your favorite bookstores or to go to Timber Press. Thank you so much. It's a lovely book. Thank you for inviting us.